I've come out this morning, what is it, day after Boxing Day, 27th, and going out for a very gentle ride this morning because I haven't ridden my bike for many weeks now because I've been sick. I'm still not 100% now, but I just decided if I didn't get out I was going to go mental. So I thought I'd come out for a short ride, and during the short ride I thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk about this year, what absolute mega highlights have comprised of 2022, and as per usual surprise myself in looking at what the year's been like, because as I often say, we sort of tend to only pay attention to what has happened most recently, and actually again, as per usual, I have ended up being quite surprised at some of the cool stuff that's happened this year. So let's make a start. I'll actually get going. Hey-ya! Come on, you can do it. There we go. So perhaps as good a place as any to start would be with the event that I started this channel up with all those years ago, and the Bristol Triathlon.
I finally raced Bristol Triathlon in 2022. Whilst it ran for the first time in many years last year, I didn't feel capable physically or mentally in taking to the start line. This year I hauled myself around it and had a great time. Organisers Tough Runner were kind enough to ask me to come and do the pre-race briefing, and I had a whale of a time. The race itself was a blast, apart from the run, for me at least, but it was so nice leaving transition and hearing from so many first-time racers and how much they enjoyed it. Bring on 2023.
So the next three are all related. In fact, the next accounts for the longest ride I've ever done to date. Hopefully that will change next year, but my first 200k ride.
As part of my training for riding from London to Paris, I needed to get some big consecutive days in. So the day after a 100k club ride, myself and the ever-buoyant Dave Rostron, a veteran of many of my harebrained ideas, headed out for a hot and windy 200k. First a 100km loop of the Somerset Levels, and then back north over the Severn Bridge and into Wales before heading back south through Bristol and home. To be honest, Dave might be being a little too humble about being towed home, but he's right in as much as that I could have carried on.
I think it's probably fair to say James could have carried on. He's looked so strong towards the end, and I'll be honest, I think I got a tow for the last 60 to 70 kilometres home.
This is Cadbury, Congsbury Hill, old Iron Age fort. Like 2,500 years ago, there was a big settlement up here. You got the Mendips over that way, and Clevedon and the sea that way. Anyway, related to the longest ride that I've ever done, 200 kilometres, how about the fastest ride I've ever done, 100 kilometres?
I have to go and ride 100k as fast as I can.
And I had to do that to seed myself into the right group for the London to Paris trip. I put a shout out to the cycling club, and Darren, Chrissy and Katie stepped up, big time. I had aimed to try and ride the 100k around 26-27 kilometres an hour, and they flew me around. I took a few turns, but in essence I had an armchair ride until the last 8 or 9 kilometres, where I was able to see what I had left in my legs. And it turns out, quite a bit, but only because of the selfless acts of my team that day. It was an awesome experience.
102k, 102 kilometres, 3 hours 17 minutes, average speed of 31.03 kilometres an hour. I was aiming for around about 26, 27, we rode 31.
well-earned quick brew stop brings me on to probably one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life, really. Riding from London to Paris to catch the end of the Tour de France.
I have made a pretty heartfelt video about this trip, and I'm not sure I know what more I can say about riding from London to Paris. 3 days of over 100 miles, the closed roads, the motorcycle escorts, the company of my brother, former two-time national champion Brian Smith, and some amazing people met along the way. Topped off with being the first group of amateur cyclists to ever ride the Finnish circuit on the day of the final stage. It still resonates as a spiritual experience half a year on. I can hear the crowds, feel the cobbles through my handlebars and the warm wind on my face under the tunnels of Paris. As a single event that epitomises my love of cycling, the very why itself of why I fell in love with cycling at the age of 10, this trip was literally a dream. It genuinely feels like I dreamt every pedal stroke.
One of the significant things about all the activities that I've mentioned so far is that they've included other people, not least the people that really have made 2022 the year it is for me. And that's people that have actually taken part in a lot of the events: Chrissy, Katie, Russell and Dave. And they've become really close, firm friends. Not only do we share a similar outlook on riding bikes, we also share, probably more importantly, a very similar outlook on life and what the bike brings to that. I'm very grateful for their patience whilst riding off-road with me, particularly Dave, Chrissy and Katie, who are phenomenal off-roaders, and they have nothing but time and patience for somebody who spends most of their time hiker biking and scooting along with one foot still clipped in. And so really, I guess, all that remains to talk about is next year. And that's a tricky one because, as ever, I look back on the year that's been, and it's been more successful than I remembered it. However, I also feel, as ever really, since I've started making these videos, I've never really fully maximised what I'm capable of. And I'm fully aware now of the pressure that puts me under. There are a few things that I want to achieve next year without putting tons of pressure on myself. 3 things really to mind: 2 events. One is the Bristol Triathlon, and do that Olympic distance and actually feel a little bit like I'm racing and not struggling to wobble my way around it at plus 100 kilos like I am now. The second thing is Gritfest. Now, for some of you that won't sound like a big challenge, Gritfest over in Black Mountain, but for me, I've never done anything like this before. I've never done an off-road event of any kind, let alone one in such challenging, well, at least I think it's going to be challenging terrain. I am actually a little bit nervous about that, and I know that I'm going to need to get fitter and my bike handling skills are going to have to be improved, and so I'm looking forward to the challenge of training for that. And then finally, and I've been working towards this, I guess, over several years, I really would like to ride 400 kilometers in one day. And I'd really like to do it in the style of Mark Beaumont. 4 blocks of 4 hours, averaging around 25k an hour. Now, that's probably the most challenging out of the lot, but I kind of know deep down I can do it physically. If I can get this weight off, it's going to be more of a mental challenge. But as it stands at the moment, that's where I'm headed for 2023. Now, to achieve those things, a lot's got to be put in place, and they're much more important goals to focus on. But that's for another video, because the head leads the heart and the heart leads the body, and I need to think these things through very carefully, and I'm going to put all these things in a separate video another time. And that leaves me really just to say thank you to all of you really that have watched these videos and commented and subscribed and joined the journey. I assure you, my plan is not to let up at all on this. I thoroughly enjoy making the videos, and I'm looking forward to making more and more content next year. Stick along for the ride if you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit the notifications bell below. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what it is you got planned for 2023. And I'll probably see you in the new year. Adios.